All right, tonight we're going to talk about preparing for the proposal, and we're going to talk a little bit about conducting the proposal. And this, I think, is where people get a little bit tripped up because they know how to introduce someone to our company. They get really excited. They want to talk about products. They want to talk about business. But then it gets to the point where you're ready to talk about something and you just feel like you're all thumbs, right? Can anyone relate to that? And a proposal is where the rubber kind of meets the road in terms of now we're going to be a business consultant. Now we're switching from just friends, from getting to know each other, to something that sounds so serious, doesn't it? Like it's a proposal. Now this sounds like maybe you need a business degree, you need a script, you need to wear different clothes, right? Like this is a whole different thing. And this is where they're going to say yes or no. No, not the case, guys. Absolutely not the case. So I hope at the end of this little segment that we have that you understand that if you're making the proposal too complicated, you're making the proposal too complicated. That's not what this is about. This right here is the point of the nutraMetrix meeting that I really think is the most like the plan showing. Now, we're approaching this from an HP1 lens, an HP1 example. As if you're going to have someone who's an HP executive, you're going to talk to them about the full business. You're going to talk to them about the plan, the shopping annuity, recruitment. This is for someone who in the discovery meeting, they're like, yeah, it'd be really nice to have a couple extra $100, $1,000, $1,200 a month coming in. Does that make sense? This is where we're focusing on retail. Or maybe you're not really sure about them. Maybe you're not really sure about their goals. You're not really sure if you guys are going to work together. And so from your end, you think they're going to be a better HP1 account. And you want to really get them started with that. Okay, so we're not going to make this too complicated. Some things that we're not going to do is we're not going to create a whole big presentation. We're not going to go in with a, giant bound presentation that you had done up at Staples and everyone around a boardroom table. Not going to happen like that. We're going to keep it really simple. These days, I have been working all over the country. I still sometimes do these over Zoom. Maybe we can't get together. Maybe the timing's not right. Maybe it's not appropriate to get together. Maybe they live just so far away. I have an account in Alaska. I've never been to Alaska. We did a proposal. We did one over Zoom. So it is totally possible. There is one thing that is missing, and that is trying some products. So Boris is saying that Boris is brand new and doesn't know how to present to his doctor. I want you to go back, Boris, to some of the previous segments, because what have we already done? Well, we already know, just to recap, we already know how to introduce ourselves. We already know how to introduce ourselves as a professional. We already know how to do that first meeting, that discovery meeting. I know you're thinking that, the discovery meeting. So we already know how to do that. And so this point is after the discovery meeting, you've booked the proposal, you've said to them who else needs to be here as part of this meeting. So hopefully you have all decision makers in one spot. If not, you will have to do the proposal a couple times. Just know that. Anytime that you have someone new that's coming into the meeting that hasn't seen what you've shown them, you just do that meeting again. All right, that is my best advice for you. All right, I'm getting my slides up here. Okay, all right, so conducting the proposal. I only have 17 slides, guys. It's a very simple meeting. We overcomplicate it as NCs. I think that we get a little bit nervous. Your mindset is not that you're going to go in there as a rep. You do not rep nutraMetrix. You do not even work for nutraMetrix. You're an independent distributor, an independent consultant. You are, certified. You've gone through a training, so you can say that. You are not going to give them everything that's possibly in your head. You're not going to give them everything Dr. Mason knows. You're not going to give them everything I know or even everything you know. This is not a way of convincing someone. We're still testing out the waters. This is our second date. We had a discovery meeting. We're on to the proposal. This is not where they say yes or no. The end of this is where you're going to book another appointment. So it is not for you to pounce on anyone. So you're a consultant who is there to have a conversation. You are there to continue to learn more about how you can give them solutions that are going to meet their unique needs. It's a totally customized presentation, but there's a format to it. So it's mass customized. You know, we only have so many products that can go into our custom cocktails. We only have so many products that can go into a proposal. There's only so many things. We're just going to like fill in the blank. I'm going to show you where the blanks are. There's only 3. So you really only need to pick 3 different things. We're having conversations about the solutions to meet their unique needs. Okay, it's not a presentation, it's a conversation. Unless you're meeting with a large group, this sometimes happens, or you're speaking at a board meeting, that happens few and far between. You know, it's a franchise, they have multiple owners, they ask you to come in and present. So yes, but you're gonna try to make it as conversational as possible. What do you want at the end? We should always like work with the end in mind. Is wellness a fit? More specifically though, is nutraMetrix a fit? You know, they might believe in wellness, but it just doesn't make sense for nutraMetrix. We also want to show them the big picture. Some people are going to be profit driven. Some people are going to be science driven. Brandy's gone through personality types. So you do want to make sure that's all in one presentation, but the goal is not to convince them that you need daily essentials as a part of your practice. You need nutraMetrix. We're not jamming square pegs in round holes here. Take someone with you, please, please, please. This appointment more than ever, please take someone for backup, to train, to leverage, to just be an extra set of ears and eyes to help you take notes as you get a little bit frazzled. And please be conscious of the time allowed. Be bright, be brief, be gone. I really think it should take 30 minutes max. If it's taking longer than that, book a follow-up. I set my watch. It goes off. I'm out of there. That's how it works. Book that follow-up. We have an agenda in the practice planning guide. Read through the script. Make it your own. I've already told you, I bring a clipboard with me. I fill in and take notes, and this is what I go through. You know, it starts by saying, thanks for your time. I have 30 minutes on the calendar. Is that what you have too? I have to get back to the babysitter. You know, I always tell them I have another appointment. I have a call. I have something. You know, and you want to thank them for like fitting you in. And then you're going to, you know, go through and say, you know, we're all committed in different ways. You know, we want to be able to meet patients where we're at. I always tell them, this is totally a sample. This is a sample. This is an illustration. That's all that this is. All right. And so we're going to go through and we're going to keep it really, really, really simple. You know, if there were any concerns in the last meeting, make sure that you're addressing those concerns. If there's anything that they brought up, I like to start with their goals as well. I like to say, you know, our goal is here to bring you solutions based on some information that you had. You told me you'd like to open a second location. You told me you'd like to cut back on your hours. We talked about your kids and creating a college fund. You know, this is your practice where you want to take it. I'm just offering one way that I could come in. We could partner together. I'm not selling you anything. I don't want to work for you. I don't want to take any money from you. I want to partner with you. It's a total partnership. Our goal is, you know, not to go through all the products, but to teach the providers where to find the right information. How much would you love if every person you talk to about Market America, shop.com, nutraMetrix, knew where to find the right information, not that stuff in the deep interwebs where some angry person decided to, you know, write something, but the right information. And that's what really our goal is here today. All right. So we're going to start by recapping the goals. You know, acknowledge that they're busy. Acknowledge that this might be a learning curve for them. I know my dad, who's an obstetrician gynecologist who had 5 hours of nutrition in medical school, he was like a fish out of water when we were talking about antioxidants, the benefits of even something as simple as a vitamin D. You know, he wasn't well read on that at the time. He was, you know, not that he was embarrassed, but, you know, he didn't know anything about it. And so it was all new to him. And so acknowledge it. You know, it might be, you don't have to say it out loud, but, you know, you might have been to more trainings on micronutrients than the health professional you're talking to. On the flip side, there might be someone across the table that's like a Dr. Mason. There might be someone who is, like Harvey Kitzman's on this call here with us tonight. And Harvey is, Harvey, you like love biochemistry, right? You love getting into the nitty gritty of everything. I know when, Dr. D writes those like Krebs cycles or whatever she writes, you're like right in there. Anytime we're talking about methylation, and that was all new to me. I wasn't required to take one single science course in my undergrad degree. I didn't go any further than an undergrad degree for, traditional standard education. I've invested, I think, a whole graduate degree in Market America with the amount of trainings I've gone through. So wherever you are, wherever they are, you can have an intelligent conversation when you follow this proposal meeting agenda. All right, so we're going to remember ESP. ESP. Write it in the chat, write it in your notebook, write it down. If you can do this, you'll be fine. You won't need the script. Still bring the script. I still bring the script myself. But the E stands for education. We have these great nutraMetrix product libraries. At this time of recording, we're in May of 2020. We're about halfway through, so you might not find this format for every single product right now in your back office, but we're working on it. These are really a great sheet. We made them so they could trifolds, and they're located. Nope, I got to update this product brochure. They're not located on each page of nutraMetrix anymore, but nutraMetrix has a lot of infographics there as well. There's flyers, infographics, lots of different things that you can download on product. E for education. If I have an isotonic product in the proposal, if there is something that's isotonic, I am going to include some information about isotonics. If there is OPC3, I'm going to bring the Live Better Longer book. I'm going to skim through the chapters, and I might read a page or two myself out of one of the chapters, if it seems like it matches up with the specialty that I'm going to see. All right. And that you can order the Live Better Longer book, the Dr. Passwater book, all about OPCs. S stands for science. People make this way too technical. Literally, you can go to the science part of nutrametrix.com with the product, copy it, paste it into a Word document. I like to skim the articles. Let's just say right here, this one, probiotics as an adjunct to detoxification protocols. That sounds interesting. If I was going to see a registered dietitian who says she runs detox programs, and I want to include whatever product this is that goes with this, I might copy this and put it into the Google and see if I can find a small abstract. I'm at least going to read up a little bit. It probably takes you a good hour and a half to prepare for a proposal. I'm not going to lie. It does take some time, especially at the beginning. If you're new and you're new to a lot of these products and you're not familiar, you haven't read through and skimmed the studies, but I'm going to definitely read through this just to see if there's anything I might want to highlight. And I highlight as well. I'll highlight something and say, this is a study you might want to look up. Yeah, Harvey, pretty much every proposal for you has OPC3. I would say most of mine does as well. I'm going to put together just a sample right here. How does this work? Why does this says numbers over it? I'm sorry about that, guys. We're going to then do P as profitability. There's an HP profit calculator. We have two versions. We have a small one for smaller size practices and a large one for larger size practices. How do you know which one to use? We asked them how big their practice was, how many patients. If a practice only has, 300 patients, you're going to use the one that only goes up to 100. If a practice has a couple thousand patients, you're going to do the one that goes all the way up to 5,000 patients. So you just pick the one that's going to make the most sense. I think one goes to 500 patients and one goes to 5,000 patients. I'm going to flip the script around for you guys a little bit, because we usually have gone by small, medium, large, but I want to flip this around to large, medium, small. I think a provider, if they start with something small and then they tell a patient about more each time they come in, the patient is like, am I going to get sold to every single provider encounter? Is it every time I go to my chiropractor, he's going to tell me about a different product? Or did he really look at me as the patient and say, this is the protocol I want you on? This is where you're okay starting, but this is the protocol I ultimately want you on. So it's a little bit different than what you've maybe heard before. And Harvey's right, you could totally reuse them. I save them because I do end up reusing a lot of my commonalities. So the profitability. So let's say that this one you put in here as the GeneSnip Foundation bundle, because this provider doesn't really know a whole lot about micronutrients, doesn't know a whole lot about supplements. Maybe a guy like my dad. My dad's like, I'd like to start offering, you know, some supplements. I think that that's a good idea. I like the value of these. I don't know where to start. I want to talk to people about prevention, but I want to just start baseline. So here, GeneSnip Foundation bundle. You're going to put in here everything in yellow. You as the NC, you can edit. So you put in the cost, you put in the BV, and you put in the retail. I put in out of this bundle, I would say that the, two products that I think are the most important, in my opinion, this is your opinion as the NC, are the daily essential packets and omega-3s. So what I did is I added up the unfranchised cost. I actually stuck it in my shopping cart in unfranchised. I put in the BV and I put in the retail profit. It was all right there in my shopping cart. So I just plugs that right in. What if you decided that in here, one of the products that was the most important was going to be magnesium? And magnesium is a 45-day supply. This is going to show you monthly. This is a monthly calculation. You're going to have to do a little bit of math. So you're going to have to figure out how much that magnesium is monthly, how much BV it is monthly, how much the suggested retail profit is monthly. Harvey, I've been doing it this way now for about a year. So this is my first time I've actually trained on it. I've done a little bit from stage, but you would have had to have been at a meeting. But this is how I want to transition us to talk about, I want to do large, medium, small. And small is, because this is our directed, it's called DSS, our directed system support. So the small is going to be, what's the one product, if they could only do one, that's going to have the biggest impact? It's not our most popular. It's not the one that maybe the practitioner talked about the most. This is the most bang for your buck. Now, I love omegas, and I think people feel different on omegas, but I think more people feel different on the daily essentials. I think daily essentials is a bigger bang for your buck. So that's why I chose that one. $55 cost, $77 suggested retail, $40 BV. And so then when you're going to look at the profit calculator, it will automatically do the rest for you. So what I typically do is I'll take a piece of paper and I'll cover up the second option and the third option. I'll just go through one at a time. So I would go through the GeneSnip Foundation bundle. I would have printed out the flyer. I would have printed out some science about it. And then I would have gone here and I would have said, to the provider, look at this. So the cost of it is $156, suggested retail $215. This particular product, it's about $7 a day. It's all calculated monthly if you do it right. 112 BV. So what this means here, Doc, is the profit. If you have 25 patients who are ordering this bundle every single month, that's almost $1,500 coming in every single month. The company also will credit you for volume that you're ordering. Every order, you're going to get some credit for it. It's kind of like frequent flyer mile points. And that will equate to some additional income in the form of, just like you're going to cash out with certain amount of miles, you can cash out your points, redeem your free hotel nights, whatever it is. Same thing. The system calculates it. As you hit it, they'll send you commission checks. We're going to look at it on an annual basis. So it'd be an additional $5,000 annually in commissions. And so total with retail and commissions, $22,500. Yeah. And I think you're right, Harvey, that patients have different commitment, education, and, a different budget, which is why, we're looking at right here, the daily essentials with the omega-3s. We look at this, and this is bringing it down to your great Starbucks analogy. This is about a Starbucks a day right here. I mean, I guess some people have $7 Starbucks. I don't know. I've never, maybe like once or twice have I ever gotten a Starbucks drink up to that. I keep mine pretty low sugar, pretty small. I'm a tall kind of girl when it comes to my Starbucks. Maybe we talk to Dr. Mason. She might be more like a venti kind of gal. And I use that, and it has nothing to do with my, how much money I have. It has nothing to do with, sometimes it has to do with budget, but sometimes it just has to do with, like, Harvey doesn't drink coffee. Your level of commitment to your coffee. Some days it's a tall commitment. Some days it's a venti commitment. Some days it's a 2-cup of coffee kind of day, right? How many people go back for that extra shot of, B vitamins around 3:00? So that 30 serving bottle might not last you 30 servings, 30 days. So again, if I was going to do this and I was going to talk about omegas, cost is about $82. Retails, just under $115. Those points again. We look at the 25 patients on these, that's still $800 a month coming in. What could you do, Doc, with $800 a month? And just wait and let them listen. It's just over $12,000 a year. So you could see, if we got 3 patients a week on this very small protocol right here of just 2 products, 3 patients a week, at the end of a quarter, you'd have had 36 new patient orders. If even just 25 of them reorder, which I think is a very conservative reorder rate, that's 25 at the end of the quarter that are going to order next quarter. But you're still talking to 3 new patients a week. So at the end of quarter 2, you now have 50 patients on product. So we're going to double all those numbers. 1,600 coming in, $5,400 in commissions, $25,000 almost. And then the next quarter. And then the next quarter, you can see how after a year of us working together, you said you had 800 patients. And some of the patients are going to, buy a set of these for their spouse. Some are going to buy a whole lot more, but some might even buy less. They might just buy daily essentials. If you had 100 patients on daily essentials, that's still $2,200 a month, $7,200 in that, frequent flyer mile commissions at the end of the year. $33,600. And that's a college fund right there. Now I skipped around a little bit for this, but you're gonna really go through, each one in a large, a medium, and a small. You want to talk about why, though. You're going to talk about why and say, we discussed in our last meeting the questions that patients ask. They're asking about, what should I do for anti-aging? What should I do as part of, a prevention package? What kind of supplements do you recommend, Doc? We also talked about your vision, your second appointment, hiring more staff, having a Christmas, get together this year. So our goal for the meeting is to find a solution. Something's going to work for the patient, something's going to work for the practice. So then we go into the how. Our goal is then to provide support. We're going to help you support the practice, get you guys onboarded, set up with our tools, our marketing, our management systems, the technology. It's not a huge thing. A couple meetings, you'll be fine. If you can work your electronic medical record, you can work our unfranchised system. And then also we're going to support you in the implementation for the generated associated revenue. So here are the solutions. So remember, it's directed system support. It's going to be, what's the one thing that's going to have the biggest bang for your buck? Kind of build upon it. Like, what's the overall protocol? In the practice planning guide, so if they talk about in the discovery meeting, if they talk about, people come in because they're complaining about their joints, they complain about their gut, they complain about head discomfort, whatever it is, we have in your practice planning guide, we have all the products. It's like a grid in little boxes, and the boxes, there's cardiovascular, blood sugar maintenance, children's, men's, women's. You can go there and there's about 5 products in each little box. That's usually where I start. If I have no idea, if I'm like, geez, I'm going in the discovery meeting, they said something about, that it was, if patients, they say, that their gut's a little bit off. They, talk about being sluggish, and they talk about, wanting, to have some anti-aging solutions. And I'm like, gut. We could all start there with the gut. I think that's where I want to start. I take only one. I don't go in with 3 separate proposals. I'm going with one proposal on one protocol. So I'm going to look in that box. I'm going to see what products. You also can go to nutraMetrix.com. If you go to shopping, the website is organized with different tabs with all different categories. And you can see how we've categorized the products: men's health, women's health, all the different tabs. They also go with the catalog. So you can look through the catalog and the way we've organized the catalog. And that's how you're going to put some products together. But I really love today doing a bundle as the large and then breaking it down. I know the bundles well enough. If you don't, we have videos on the bundles that you can also watch. But I know the bundles well enough that that's usually today the recommendations I can make. So we're going to do a simple format, large, medium, small, because patients are asking what regimen you recommend. We have the educational support, print and online, and we're going to give them a brand that you can stand behind. We're going to provide, the patient sheets with the benefits. And at this point, if you're doing something with isotonics specifically, I like mixing up and doing a tasting. I typically will bring things like Daily Essentials and Turn Up. I love Turn Up because it's yummy. I love Turn Up because it kind of gives everyone a little pep in their step. And if I have a couple people there at the meeting with me, I will mix one packet, and I usually bring a whole bunch of those little over cups, and I use them as like washable Dixie cups, and I'll give everyone a cup. And I'll give them a little bit. So I might give them an ounce or 2 of a product. It's a taste test. I'm not saying, how did you feel? Did you turn into a superhero? Can you go, run faster than a locomotive? No, it doesn't work like that. You guys know that the products don't work like that. Not an ounce of it's not going to work like that. Another thing is I'll bring some cups, and I'll bring travel size bottles of OPC3 and B vitamins, the 30 serving supply, because if they fit nicely in my bag. And I might mix, 1 or 2 servings of each of that and give a little bit to everyone. I found I like having both options, because if it's just me and one person, to mix for someone 8 ounces and to sit there and watch them try to drink 8 ounces. 8 ounces is a lot of isotonics for people that don't take isotonics on a daily basis. I take 10 ounces every single morning, but it still takes me a couple minutes. It can be a lot for someone, to start, and especially while you're staring at them. So I like to give people 2 to 4 ounces of something as their little taste test. Harvey's suggesting that he likes calcium. Yeah, calcium is a great taste too. I really like the size of the OPC3 and B vitamins for my bag. And then I'm going to repeat with medium and small. I'm not loading them up with samples. I do not want them to think that I'm a rep in any way. I might leave them if they liked something. Maybe I'll leave them. If we had a conversation, it was about magnesium, I'll leave them one turn up, and I'll say, take this tonight. It's one time, it's a one-off. I don't think it's going to have miracle powers here, but at least you'll know what it tastes like, what it's like as an experience, how the packaging works. I'll give them some instructions. Maybe I'll do that. So, remember implementation. So when we're talking about implementation, because we're going to talk about this at the proposal, it's part of the script. It has to be easy. It can't take up that much time. So we're going to talk about phase 1. It's really to get the process working. If we could sell one of those bundles, or, components of the bundles, work with the staff, get people successful at implementing how to order, how to stock it, how to reorder, how to enter it into the computer, how to communicate with patients about it, how to triage and explain isotonics. And let's just do something basic like a foundation. Then from there, we could add on another product or two, some of those one-off things, like the 45-day bottle of magnesium that's on a kind of stranger reorder rate, vitamin D as you find fit, throwing in a probiotic for those right kind of patients, and then phase 3, we can implement for more advanced solutions, GeneSnip, TLS Select, until everyone really gets trained. We might stay in phase 1 for 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. We might never get out of phase 1. We're going to work as fast as you want to work or as slow as you want to work. We'll work with your staff. I can do some things online, after hours. Can plug them into some trainings. We have lots of trainings, lots of recordings, some really great things for everyone. So just know that every proposal is different. You can keep some files on hand, so you can go back. If you get on a run and you're like, listen, I'm going to call all OBGYNs. So I have like an OBGYN one. You might find that some of them are very similar, but no two are going to be the same. Focus on the common denominators. Be willing to ask and answer, meet them where they are. Be okay if they ask you something and you don't know the answer. I get asked stuff all the time I don't know the answer to, even to this day. I say, you know what, I don't know, but I'll find out. I will email it to you for our next appointment, and support them in reaching their goals. I have found that when I am their biggest cheerleader, biggest fan, that's what they really want. People do business with you not for what you know, but how you make them feel, who you are as a person. So really champion them. And the other thing is I want you to practice. I do not want you making your proposal in a practice the first time you've ever read through this, the first time you've gotten these words out of your mouth. So please, please, please practice this proposal meeting, and guide right over to the next step. So right now we know what the solution is, and what could next steps be? It could be that there's challenges. Maybe they're going through some staff challenges. Maybe they're moving their practice. There could be some things. Work with a key point of contact. The next step could be to answer some questions. I think a great next step is to sell them some product. Get used to saying cash, check, or credit. That's what I say. I like to see you on the foundation bundle, doc. Can we get you a bundle ordered? I can have it sent to the office of your house. Can do it right now. Provide them handouts. These days, I've got to be honest, most of the time, I'm showing things to people on my computer. Sometimes I'll bring an iPad if I borrow my daughter's. I don't have my own iPad, but I bring my computer. I was finding this happened to me a few years ago where I was doing a proposal and I ran out of printer ink. And so I didn't want things to look terrible. So instead, what I did is I just showed on my computer. And I really liked that. I started sticking everything in a Dropbox. And at the end of our meeting, I just say to them, I'm going to send you your Dropbox link. So when they have the Dropbox link, everything's right in there for them. With the Dropbox link, they can access it at any time. I can throw in more files. I know what we've talked about, and they always have access to it. I'm going to talk about trainings, online trainings, in-person trainings. I'm going to talk about how we support the nutraMetrix Educational Institute with CMEs and CEUs. Maybe they need a call with one of our nutraMetrix faculty members. Maybe they want a video. They want, an HP testimonial video. But the successful proposal is one that has a follow-up meeting. So, it might be a refinement of the products. It might be different products that they wanted to see. It might be refining the mission and the vision of the practice, or your next meeting might be the one where you're really figuring out how you're getting the account started. So, these are all things that could happen, but with the proposal, I just focus on the proposal, focus on the vision, and you'll know what their hot button is. You'll know if they're more excited about the science, the products, the taste test, the profitability. You will know. So you want to keep discussing their goals. How much do you want to target for the first year? I write that down so that when they partner with me and they're not on track, I can tell them that was your goal. And I want to get their staff involved as quickly as possible. An implementation meeting is the next thing to determine the office flow. How do you know? Sometimes you open up the account after this meeting. Sometimes you open the account after the next meeting. I like it to just happen naturally. I tend to have account paperwork ready during this appointment. I might leave it with them all highlighted and how they get started, but I just book the next appointment. I just act as if, it will happen. That's my best advice to you, is just act as if it will happen. And it will happen when it's time to happen.